Your destination is on the left.
So welcome. We love the what?
I love the red.
I know, me too. The Red Baroness.
Here's Corin. I'm gonna have to squeeze over here on my left side so I make sure that I stay in frame. You're fine. I set the frame specifically for you.
Oh, that's sweet.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Just for them, I'll introduce myself. I'm Corin.
I'm Roxy.
Roxy.
Nice to meet you.
We had the pleasure of meeting at a supernatural convention an eon ago. Not that long, about 9 years, 8, 9 years, something like that, in Burbank, which was a great convention, by the way. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hot. Melting.
Well, I asked specifically for the warmest day possible for this interview.
I do appreciate that.
Just to keep the pressure on.
That was sweet. That was very sweet of you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have it in the budget to have an in-room studio on the bus.
We're good. We're used to this. We're Arkansans. We got it.
That's true. Yes, I myself being an Arkansan, I'm back in old home sweet home here. Woo Pig Suey.
And you lived here quite a while, right?
Well,
in Fayetteville.
Well, I was until I was 7, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so not that long, but I remember quite a lot from living. Especially in Fayetteville, where we lived out there. My mom and dad were at the University of Arkansas there. My dad was in the architectural program. She was doing graphic design.
Yeah.
I remember quite well. Actually, we were living in some kind of subsidized housing area thing that it wasn't the nicest place to live, but one of the cheapest.
Well.
And I remember a scream from my mother from the kitchen one time, running in there and saying that she had withdrawn a drowned mouse out of our sink, which I myself thought was hilarious.
I bet you did.
Well, where were you born?
Lepanto, Arkansas. It's northeast Arkansas, about 45 minutes from Memphis, right? Yeah, about that.
Okay. Small town?
Very small town, about 2,000 people.
About 2,000
Yeah.
people. You know, my high school in Los Angeles, North Hollywood High School, we had 52 to 5,400 students.
We had 44 people in our graduating class.
That's wild. I do get curious about small town life and growing up in small towns, because there must be pros and cons to it. What was your?
There are.
Yeah. What was your life growing up as a kid there?
There are pros and cons, definitely. Growing up as a young kid, it's great. You know, the river is 100 yards behind my house.
Oh.
Me and my cousins and my friends, we were always,
Which
just
river?
running wild. It's just Little River.
Okay.
That's literally the name of it. And we just ran wild all the time.
Yeah.
As soon as we got up, we were out, and we came in when the street lights came on. That whole thing that you see in movies. That's what we did.
Yeah. It's like Stand By Me every day.
Kinda, but you get up in junior high and high school and things change, and we weren't the popular set at school, but I mean we still had a good time because we had so many of us. There was probably 8 or 10 of us in our little group, so we weren't alone like a lot of kids.
Yeah.
That don't fit are.
Yeah, I find that when I crunch the numbers on the popular crowd, it dwarfs. It's just a tiny percentage of the overall student body, and they suck up so much attention.
They take over things.
You know.
But I mean, and we let them.
Of course.
We let them do that.
And what else are you gonna do?
But I mean, we didn't really have just horrible people at our school, not for the most part.
Did you have the jocks and the preppies and
God, yes.
and the rockers and the?
That was us.
You were the rockers?
Yeah, we were the big hair, leather jacket, lots of black eyeliner. Thought we were real badasses.
What was one of your favorite bands, or a couple of your favorite bands during that time period?
Jesus. All the hair bands, of course. I was a big Bon Jovi girl, still am.
Right on.
Poison, Metallica, Motley Crue.
Twisted
all those
Sister?
Bands. Yeah.
I mean, they had two good songs. They had two
did.
good
They
songs.
had a couple. They had a couple. Yeah.
They were older. They were more my older sister's
Yeah.
time frame.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
little
I'm
bit.
showing my age then, I guess.
Um,
When you were growing up, what was family life like for you?
good. I mean, you know,
Did your parents stay together? Or?
my parents were together until my dad passed away about 9 years ago.
Okay.
My mom passed away 3 years ago. But yeah, they stayed together. You know, really had a pretty normal white bread,
Right.
you know, childhood. We didn't have money really. We always had a garden every year and put food up, you know, to eat. And during the summer, we lived off the garden. We didn't really do a lot of grocery shopping.
Right.
So I mean, you know, it was tight, but again, like you hear in songs and movies, we didn't know it.
Right. Exactly.
Not,
Yeah.
not when I was young.
Well, I would say that, I mean, having your own garden, being able to be somewhat self-sufficient is a great thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we have a garden again now, me and my kids, because we live in the home that I grew up in.
Okay.
And yeah, we have a garden, and I have two little grand ones, and yeah, they love being outside with me, and working in the yard, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. I can't
Yeah.
wait to have some grandbabies.
Yeah.
I miss my kids being little so much.
Oh God, me too.
Yeah, so cuddly.
Yeah.
Aw, it's the
Yeah.
best. So, what's it like living in the same house you grew up in?
It's for me, it's great,
Yeah.
and for the kids too, because that was kind of their steady place. I've been married twice, so
Okay.
we kind of moved around a good little bit, and we moved down to Mississippi for a while, and when we came back, we were only back about a year before my dad passed, and Mom didn't really want to live there anymore,
Yeah.
so she got an apartment, and the kids and I moved in, and that's kind of been always our little, you know, tether. It's kind of
Kept everything together.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the whole family, but especially for me and my kids. So
Yeah,
it's great.
that's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. When you were in your high school years, kind of those rebellious rocker chick years,
Uh-huh.
were you thinking much about the future, about what life held after high school?
Well, Vicky's laughing at me already. No, I'm going to be honest, not
Yeah.
a lot. I was dating a guy and ended up marrying him that was in a band, and we were too busy, you know, playing shows and doing videos and all that.
Was that a good time?
You know, it was. We had a great
Heck yeah.
time. You know, there was a soap opera in the house because it's a band. If there's ever
Sure.
a band and wives and girlfriends, it's going to be crazy. you
Yeah.
know. So for all the ridiculous stuff that went on, it was also so much fun. You know, and
Yeah.
we just met some really cool people and did some, you know.
Yeah,
it was
outrageous
great.
stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I had some big house parties.
A few.
how
A few.
How long did that time period stretch out for you?
You know, it wasn't long.
The touring and doing
maybe
everything.
5 years. 5 or
That's a
maybe-
lifetime for
maybe
some
5
people, isn't
years. Yeah, especially for a band.
Yeah,
they
for a
just
band.
don't stay together.
No.
But yeah.
Were they a good band?
They were, yeah.
Did they
were
have
a
any
good
albums, or
band.
did they do any
They
self-released
had
albums
an
or anything?
EP. There was a whole Memphis sound
Uh-huh.
at that time.
What was the name
come
of the
along
band?
With, well, Tora Tora came out of Memphis, and Every Mother's Nightmare, and there were several that were getting big record deals
Yeah.
right then. And you may know the band Saliva. If you do, their singer Josie was in a band with
Oh,
my
okay,
ex, and
okay.
yeah. So there was just a real interest in Memphis right then.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And sadly, they kind of came in on the tail end of it, and they didn't get their shot at MTV very much. But-
Right, well, that's why when I was a kid, that's why we actually moved to Memphis first from Arkansas. My mom was a graphic designer, and she wanted to be a graphic designer in the music business and
Yeah.
design album covers and all of
Yeah.
that. So we laid over in Memphis, and then went on to Atlanta, where she got connected up with a really big promotional company there, and started working in the music business. So I'm familiar with
Yeah.
life in the music business from a different side of things, but I got to go to a lot of amazing concerts, and meet Hall & Oates and the Jay Giles
wow.
Band and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. I was just a little kid in the
See,
I was just a
no,
little
now
kid in the green
you're
room.
killing me.
Yeah, just a little kid in the green room hanging out, you know.
Joan Jett is my forever love.
She was really
God, I
cool.
love
She
her
was an
so
absolute sweetheart.
I love
I
her
remember
so
her
much.
very well when I was a little
Yeah.
kid. The music business it can be wild. What when you were kind of going when that was tapering off, when that lifestyle was tapering off, did you find yourself kind of at a crossroads?
No, it really, because it did taper for me.
Yeah.
It went from the super crazy time to I knew that I wanted to be a mom. That was my biggest goal. I wanted to have kids, and that's what I did, and about as quick as I could. I was in my early 20s when I had my oldest two, and you know, life kind of went from that 1,000 miles an hour to stop.
Right.
We're going to do this. This is our focus now. You know, so much better.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. And
So much better.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you think that living that sort of edge of your seat lifestyle for that number of years is kind of what we'll just wait for some of the noise up.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what compelled you to do a soldier's about face on life and head in the other direction?
I think it probably had a lot to do. Well, that and my mom and dad were pretty strong. They had a pretty strong marriage. You know, I mean, they had their problems, but it was like I wanted that. I wanted to be.
They were awesome.
They were awesome. They were. My mom was amazing. She was an amazing woman. But I wanted that. I wanted to be like her. You know.
Well, that said, what was it? What was it about your mom, about her character, that is so appealing to you?
Well, I think what I hope I got from her, and what I hope I've given to my kids is that she was everybody's mom.
Yeah.
Everybody in town came to Josie, whatever they needed. A prom dress made, a wedding dress made, their kids' haircut, if they were hungry, whatever you needed, she did. And a lot of times for free, for nothing. You know, it was just whoever needed it, she had you covered. And it was the neighborhood house. Everybody was always there, and everybody just had a real respect for her. She was she quit school in 8th grade, but she was so smart. Could fix anything, cars, electronics, whatever. Like I said, she sewed wedding dresses and prom dresses for all of us. She was just.
She was like the village mother.
She never slowed down. And my house, thankfully, has been like that forever. It's all the kids are at my house, and a lot of them don't have anywhere else they can be, you know.
Gotcha.
And they come to the house, and that's their soft place. And a lot of them land, and they never get up and go again.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fine too.
There's one sweaty hair right here
there
on your
are
cheek. There you go. That was
plenty
fine.
of sweaty hairs.
I didn't want it to be distracting
everywhere.
for people watching, and they would get distracted by a hair and not listen to what you're saying, because this is what's most important. With how was your father at that time? What was his role in all of this?
Well, Dad was he was really quiet, and he drank a good bit, but he was never like a violent drunk. He was just a sleepy drunk.
A sleepy drunk?
He would just go to sleep, and you didn't really see
Was he a hard
just
worker?
a whole lot. But yeah, I mean, he was up at 4:45 every morning. He worked in a parts factory that made fuel pumps for cars. No air conditioning and 100+ degree heat every day, and I mean, it was miserable. So everybody kind of understood when he wanted to come home, drink a 40 and take a nap. That was just kind of what you did. But I only mentioned that to say he wasn't as involved.
Right.
But most dads weren't then.
Yes, there was a kind of they found us. They found where we were hiding.
NSA, they got us.
If special forces soldiers start dropping down on ropes here,
you're on your own. We're going.
Nothing will stop Love America tour.
except
What-
pianist.
You know, that is true. That there was a, a time period when, it was just expected for the dad to
Right.
be
Yeah.
sort of almost the non-existent hard worker who just provides, the money and sort of, but
Yeah. I mean, Mom worked too, though. She never didn't work, and
Really?
she would work and come home, and I cooked
What was
3
she
days
doing?
a week for my kids. She worked factory too.
Okay.
And I cooked 3 days a week for my kids, and I'm exhausted. And she would go and work a full day, come home and made a full from scratch meal every night.
Right.
And then went and sewed and whatever to make more money for what we needed. So I mean, she was just incredible. You just
Yeah, the level of resolve and personal integrity that it would take to keep all of that up and also maintain a balance emotionally.
Right, and
is
well,
tough.
the life that she came from, she had a very, very abusive mother.
Oh,
That
really?
she was from the mountains in Alabama, and I mean the kind of mother that, she did just horrific things. She would lock my mother in closets. She once held my youngest aunt over a well by her ankle, threatening to drop her in if the others didn't do what they were told. She was that kind of. Of course, now she would have a diagnosis and she would be medicated, but then
Right.
she was just mean and crazy. That was the only thing they could think to do with her.
Right.
And so she came from that.
And do you know if
And-
do you know if her mom had suffered some type of
Sure.
abuse as well?
Yeah.
Possibly? Okay.
Yeah, she did.
So it was a
And,
hand-me-down,
It was
of-
definitely a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
And
We'll just wait for this guy to pass by real
That's
quick. They're doing this on purpose, I'm telling you. They know what we're up to over here.
But yeah, Mom she was kind of determined. Because I've noticed that with people, when you go through something like that, you can go
One or
this
two
way,
directions.
Right? You can either do it yourself, or you can say, I'm not going to be that.
Well,
I'm
that's-
going to do whatever it takes to not be that.
Exactly, and that's amazing because your mom was able to break a cycle that was
Right.
multi-generational and be able to offer and afford a whole brand new vista of opportunity for the rest of her family. How did she do that? It's incredible.
I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish that I had more of her than I do.
Yeah.
I don't have her backbone.
Was she a spiritual woman?
No,
No?
no, she wasn't particularly
Just practical.
spiritual.
Just practical, huh?
Well,
Oh, it's coming for you. Nature at its best.
Nature hates me.
Um,
No, I mean she believed,
Right.
but she wasn't a churchgoer,
Right.
or anything like that. But no, I think it was really just. I think she sometimes was amazed that she made it,
Really?
and that was so amazing to her that she was like, I made that. I actually made it. I'm here. I'm alive, and my kids are never going to know that fear. And she didn't with any of us, though, with my friends, anybody. That kind of stuff just was not allowed. There was not going to be yelling, screaming, arguing, and I think it as much for her as anybody.
Yeah.
She just couldn't deal with that. I mean, she was tough. She wasn't a pushover.
Yeah.
She was tough, but she.
I'm gonna try and do what I can to lessen some of the noise in the background in post, but we don't have a lot to work with, so bear with us here, folks.
I'm quiet anyway.
Yeah,
when I speak.
you are soft spoken,
I'm
but I have
sorry.
the mic aimed directly at you, so I think that we should be okay.
Okay.
Your mom being such a powerful influence, do you feel that you have kind of a personal obligation to carry that forth?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, because she was such a powerful influence, like I said, it wasn't just me, it was on so many people. And when I hear that, when people say it about me, of course it makes me feel good, but in the back of my head I'm going, but I'm not Josie, you
Right.
know? And I know people think that about their parents, if they were good parents, that
Yeah.
they'll never live up to that.
yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's a responsibility, and even more than just a responsibility, I want to.
See, that's beautiful.
I want to do it.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So my mom's house was kind of the hangout as well. She was a very hippy dippy, music lady kind of thing. And it was always, it didn't matter, 5, 6 people, they could all crash over at our place at times, which was great because, I grew up with a bunch of friends from broken homes and all of that, and different people's family members they lived in were just cool and things were stressful, and having a place where we could let our hair down and feel like we weren't being a burden on anybody was a huge benefit to all of us. And I think as much trouble as we did get into, if she didn't allow for us to be able to hang out like we did, we would have gotten into way more trouble.
Yeah, and my kids know that. My oldest two are in their 20s now. They're in their early 20s, but as teenagers, yes, I would much rather have you and all your friends right here. Go crazy as long as you don't go crazy.
Exactly.
And yeah, that was, like I said, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy them being there. The grandkids, everybody, it makes me happy. It's like, that's what I want to do.
They're very busy here today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a popular time to go RVing.
Clearly.
With respect to that, I think that is really important when you grant beingness. I like this idea. My acting teacher used to stress to all of his students about granting people beingness. You have to allow people to be who they are, within reason, so long as they're not trying to physically harm you or do things like that. You know what I mean? But you allow people to be who they are, and it seems like you found a way to allow those people into your life, the kids and all of that. Grant them the amount of beingness that makes them feel comfortable and safe.
Right.
I hope so. And I feel like when you do that, it lessens the tendency to make poor choices.
Yeah.
I
hope so. They're good kids, not just mine, but
the whole lot of them.
The whole lot of them that I've raised.
Yeah.
They're good kids. They do stupid things, but they're good kids. And I mean, I did too.
Yeah.
God, some of the things I did.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Me too. Outrageous.
But that was all right.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I once crawled from one car to another on the freeway through the windows.
Yeah.
Uh,
of course you did.
Yeah, which was just just me trying to be cool.
And Mom found this out how long later?
When she watches this video.
Yep.
No, she never knew about that one.
Well,
No.
Yeah.
No, but
something else to edit and post.
Well, the one thing that we love about these interviews is the honesty of them. So that's what's going to cross all of those bridges, I think. Growing up with such a powerful influence with your mom and taking that into your life, and do you think that you've successfully transmitted the majority of those teachings to your kids?
I hope so. My kids have not seen me as physically strong as she is, because I do have a disability, and so I've worked I worked hard for a lot of years, but I wasn't able to do physically the things that she did, and that was always a part of her that I can remember so clearly, was her muscles.
Right.
She was feminine and she was pretty, but she had muscles. I never had that, and I think with my kids, they don't maybe have the work ethic that I wish they did, but they do in a lot of ways. I have a son who's a musician and a producer. I have a daughter who's an artist, and it's not that they don't have a work ethic, they just don't have work experience practically, because the stuff that they do doesn't lend itself to that yet.
Right.
But yeah, as far as just caring and taking care of other people as best you can, and not
abandoning your responsibilities.
Yeah, just do your best. Just hang in there, because it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I've been a single mom most of the time that my kids have been alive, and it's hard.
Yeah, my mom was. She was a single mom for Mike. She never got remarried or anything. So it was.
Well, I did, and
didn't work out.
It didn't. I thought maybe I'm just not really good at this, but I'm have to try again.
Oh,
So,
congratulations!
yeah,
Congratulations.
thanks.
Yeah, relationships are not easy. There's no doubt about that.
We've been together 12 years, so hopefully.
Oh,
I think we're doing okay.
Oh, so you guys have just
I think we're all right.
been a couple for the last
Yeah.
12 years, and now you're like, well,
Yeah.
listen, you know, if you haven't figured each other out after 12
That's
years,
right. Yeah. Yeah. And bless him, he's still here, so it's his own fault now.
That's fantastic.
Whatever happens from here on in.
Yes, I hope myself to, still be able to find that kind of a quality relationship, even in my waning years. Because my lifestyle has not afforded me any kind of, real good, solid relationships. Even on the friendship side, it's straining, because a lot of the friends I grew up with were in the same industry. So it's like, this guy's out of town this time, you're out of town here,
Right.
everybody's out of town there, and you kind of cross paths sort of in between all of that,
Yeah.
So, when now that you are where you are, I do want to touch on that, because we don't have to get into what the disability is or anything like that. We can talk in general terms about it, whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
But when you found out, I don't know, was this a disability that's been around your whole life, or was this something that snuck up on you later on? Or?
No, it's been around forever. I was born without a hip. It just didn't form.
Okay.
And they didn't know that until, of course, I started trying to walk. And so yeah, I was in a body cast for a while and all this, and through that, going to the hospitals and surgeries, they diagnosed me with rheumatoid arthritis, which
yeah.
sadly isn't the best kind. to
No,
have.
no, not at all.
And so yeah, as the years progressed, it's just gotten worse, and now I have a seizure disorder too. So the two of those things combined with, I have a lot anyway.
You have
Yeah.
strong support from your family throughout all of this, and
Well, from my family.
yeah, friends
From my family
and your soon-to-be husband
and my soon-to-be husband.
Yeah.
And my kids.
and the
know.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, they take care of me.
So, how do you deal with with the disability on a regular basis? What kind of, where do you draw the strength from to put up with the difficulties of it and the drawbacks of it, but still keep moving forward?
I think that may be an actual benefit to me having this since I was a baby. Is that I don't know any different. And it's like my body doesn't necessarily know what it shouldn't be doing. What I shouldn't be doing. And I mean, I have days when I can't walk across the floor. I have days when I can't get up.
Really?
But I have days where I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
So it's the seizure, I think, disorder has come about as more scary just because we don't quite understand it all yet.
Right.
But as far as my body and what my body will do and won't do, there's a lot it won't do. But I can do things like this.
Yeah.
And have a blast. I can go on road trips with my girls and,
I love it.
go see Chad or come see you or go to a concert or whatever, and it's great. I don't have, thankfully, the kind of disability that doesn't allow me to do some of the things that I love. I can't do everything,
Yeah.
but I can do a lot. So
That's fantastic. Well, I love the attitude that you keep about it. You don't seem to have a kind of a woe is me type of.
oh, sometimes I do.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I can get really down, but I try not to.
Well,
Just
that's
because
just
I have stuff to do.
Yeah, yeah. And so in
stuff
those
to do.
moments, would you say that the level of responsibility that you hold for the things that you have to do in life, does that assist you in
Absolutely.
overcoming those moments of
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, that's most of it. It's
Yeah.
just I have things to do, and it's not drudgery most of the time. It's like I said, I get up in the morning and I'm with the grandkids, or we're just outside. We literally it's the most mundane stuff that's completely amazing
Yeah.
to me. We're just playing in the
Wow.
yard, or
Yeah.
playing in the water sprinkler. I mean, just anything like that. Going for walks. That's my happy time. That's what I love.
Yeah.
So it's just, and the things I have to do too. I have to cook supper. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to do plenty of stuff, and I don't have time to sit down and just let myself hurt. Because I'm going to hurt no matter what I'm doing.
Right.
But if I just sit down and quit, then I've sat down and quit. And
Exactly.
I can't do that. I've got a lot of life ahead of me. You know, if I sit down now, I'd never get back up. I've seen it happen to too many people in my family. And just sit down and quit.
Really?
You can.
Yeah. What's without having to go into detail on that either, when you saw other family members sort of drop the flag during
Right.
during
Yeah.
mid-March,
Yeah.
did that strengthen your resolve?
Yeah, because, and again, that comes back to my mom, because she would see this happen with them and would just be like, God, it seems like they're just okay that death is around the corner. You know, it's like they're, well, I'm just going to sit here and wait on it. And she would always, I've got stuff I want to do. I don't understand that mindset.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it either. I don't know why people are so content to say, well, if it's your time, it's your time.
Right. It's the
We're
old
all gonna
adage.
go.
It's the old adage: rage against the dying of the light.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that there's something very important about that. The idea of maximizing the time that we do have here, in whatever small ways we can, because when this life experience is over and we're on to whatever comes next, whatever that may be, I've always thought I don't want to be on my deathbed with a bunch of regrets.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's you operate a little bit the same.
I do. I'm wet.
I'm soaking wet too. My shirt is
Wet.
just. I apologize for not having them turn the air conditioner on out here.
Well,
Fortunately, we're not walking into town like we did yesterday.
I saw that.
It was. We almost didn't make it.
What are you guys doing? An hour and a half?
It was fun. It was great, actually. We had a lot of laughs. I find that these moments like we're having right now are really important in life, to reach out and to break the ice with people. We were having a little bit of a conversation earlier that I'd love to touch on again, because you were just talking about how you and your girlfriends that you've grown up with for so long have relatively some I don't want to say stark or differences,
Sometimes.
but in terms of certain subject matter and everything, but it's the friendship and the camaraderie and the commonality of that friendship that we can overcome those things. But I am curious, like, what is it that keeps the bond that you have with your friends together, regardless of let's say political point of views or religious things or whatever else? There's a million of them. But
there are lots, but we love each other enough to we know each other's hearts, and so even if one is politically here and straight down the middle, we know each other's hearts, and we've known each other long enough. Vicki and I have been friends for 45 years, since we were infants.
Wow.
And Jill and I met when I think I was in 5th grade, and we're family, and we know each other's hearts. So even though politically it doesn't really affect us that much anyway, because socially we kind of all have the same viewpoints.
Yes.
We all kind of believe in the same rights for people, and the same way that people should just be treated just in everyday life.
Yeah, treating people with
So,
dignity.
Even if economically we see things different or whatever, we're family. We know. And I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
We're together all the time.
So, but in being able to set aside, those kind of trivialities, you know what I mean? That to me is a really important factor in being able to maintain a balance of in life, with regards to relationships.
Well,
You know.
right, and it is respect because, as you know, we were kind of chatting earlier too. It's that I know that they believe, with every amount of their soul, what they believe the same as I do, and I'm not going to disrespect that.
Yeah.
I try not to disrespect that with most people, but I'm certainly not going to do it with people that I love and that are there for me through everything.
Absolutely.
I mean everything. We've been there through births and deaths and divorces and just everything. It's always been us. So, not everybody has that. We're
It's
really
true.
lucky.
Yeah, it's
We're
true,
very
especially
lucky.
for that long of a
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah.
To have those kind of deep, meaningful relationships. On that note, what advice could you give to others on maintaining relationships even through having differences in opinions on certain things that some people just get so hung up on it ruins the relationship. Like how could you give us some insight into
And I'm
into
not, I'm not sure how much insight I have, but I've gotten hung up on those things too. I mean, believe me, I have. There's family members that I've told we can't be Facebook friends if we're going to be able to enjoy each other in real life when we see each other and spend that time together. I want to be able for us to enjoy that. So, because of course people say things on Facebook or Twitter that they're not going to say sitting here talking like we're talking.
exactly.
And, so that I think has actually been good though for us to separate those parts of our lives. But for the people that I am around daily, my son is a libertarian, which is way off from
Right.
where I sit.
Right.
But only in some ways. I mean,
Yeah.
we have some spirited debates in my
Yeah.
house, but that's kind of what we do. That's our that's our thing. We gotta enjoy that.
Yeah.
But we never look at each other like, you're stupid. God,
Right.
that's so stupid. I can't believe you would think that. We just don't. We got too much respect for each other because we know deep down, I really believe that most people want the best for each other. Some people don't want to say it, but they do. They want the best for each other.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of deep insight or great advice. I just know that in my relationship with the people I love,
Yeah.
it's respect.
Well, I laughed when you said that because it's actually the opposite. You'd be amazed at how much insight you've already afforded everybody here listening in the conversation
Thanks.
we've had. I'm serious. So, one last question then. Along the same kind of lines, but it seems like you've been able to orchestrate a pretty solid, foundation for your family and all of that. What may be a recommendation you might be able to give to young couples just having children who are facing the trials and tribulations that you've already gone through? What kind of advice might you give them that might help them avoid some of the pitfalls that you snagged up on?
Oh gosh. I always thought it was very important to spend time apart. And people don't stress that enough. If you hold on too tightly to people, they really wriggle wanting to get away. And that goes for spouses and kids. And, time apart is good, and just room inside the house. Room to just kind of spread out. Everybody have their place to kind of do them, and then it's just the same as what I was saying with Facebook, is when everybody is together and you can enjoy that. You don't have to be so stressed out, and don't stress out so much, because I'm bad about it. I'm a worrier. I worry a lot. But I don't know, your kids are going to be your kids. All you can do is do your best by them. They're going to make some bad choices. You're going to make some bad choices. You're not going to parent the way you want to parent.
I know.
The image you have in your head, whatever it is, throw that away, because it's not going to happen.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have, like I said,
No,
I don't have
that
a lot of advice. It's
no,
just,
that was amazing advice. I mean, it's about letting go of those high expectations,
right.
and dealing with what's presented as it's presented, overcome each of the little obstacles.
And be proud of everything they do. Every good thing, make sure they know it.
Yeah.
I will tell my kids, and it doesn't lose effect. I will tell them 100 times a day, I love you. You're an amazing person. You make me so proud. So many kids never hear it. And the parents think they're doing a favor, right? By kind
Yeah.
of withholding that a little bit. And maybe they are,
Yeah.
maybe I'm doing it wrong. But I don't think there's, I don't know. I just want them to always know every day. When we leave the house, it's be careful, I love you. Every time, even if it's just to go to the gas station 5 miles, 5 minutes down the road. I can't get enough of that.
That's beautiful, and it's actually a great place to leave off, because what you said here. We should remember that when our loved ones are leaving our presence for whatever the reason may be, and if we have some kind of clash that has occurred during that time period, the last thing that any of us want is to say something bad when they leave the door, should you never see them again.
Right.
So I think that advice, always remember to cherish and love, and those who are close to you, and then spread that love as much as possible throughout the community.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What an inspiration. And Roxy, I know that you were a little apprehensive about doing the
Little
interview,
bit,
but I
yeah.
appreciate you going against the grain here, and giving us the opportunity to get to know you better. And the folks out there on Twitter, you probably will now say, wow, I love this lady. I never knew that, these stories, and that's what I'm trying to do here, is break the ice.
This was fun.
Thank you
I
so
loved it.
much, Roxy. You're the
Thanks.
best. Thank you. Love America.